Hi, my name's Catherine Sutton and here's my page called Delight using BoBunnyBelieve collection. It's a beautiful collection of very colourful papers, and because of this it suited my beachy photos, and I really wanted to add some inks and mists and make a nice mixed media page with it. So I started off by covering my cardstock in a thin layer of gesso with a store card, an old store card. I then add some plasterer's tape, which adds some really nice texture. The reason I add gesso is because it's a primer, so it means that the inks that I add later will sit on top of the paper rather than soak into it. And the plasterer's tape just adds nice bits of texture and you get little pools of colour. I also add some gesso on top of this because the plasterer's tape is plasticky. I did spill the gesso a little bit, so there's rather a lot, and you'll see me spread it all out and then I just gather it up, or as much as I can up, and I do have a bit of a clear out afterwards. The papers that I'm using in this are called Blessed, which has a Bible print on it, Divine, which is lots of cut out bits and pieces, Faith, which has got some clouds and some words, and then the beautiful Radiance Sunny paper that you'll see me show you later. Another way I create texture is by using my store card and a bit of paint and pushing it down on the page. This creates that nice veiny effect you can see here. That again helps with the ink, and it adds more texture. So here's my yellow Cosmic Shimmer Mist that matches the Radiance paper beautifully. I start by just misting my page with water so that all the inks run into each other. And then I go with the yellow mist and I just add a few drips and then lots of yellow. I add it on a diagonal so it draws your eye across the page. I also add some Prima Gold, which you'll see me use, and then some Orange by October Afternoon. There must be something different in the orange mist because that has quite an amazing effect once you add it, and it makes all the colours spread out. So watch this here. Here goes the orange. Beautiful. I then just dribble my colours a little bit. I'm going to let it air dry so they don't mix too much, and I also add a bit of embossing powder to it, and once it's dry I just heat emboss it so you can see the embossing there. So here are my photos and I've got the papers ready. I've got the Faith and the Radiance, and I'm going to use a mixture of both sides because I really like the orange. So I've chopped up my papers, I've cut out some of the clouds and lots of the little bits from the Divine paper. I like to distress the edges again to add even more textures to my layout, so I'm using my distress tool and just going around all my pieces of paper. I then ink them with tea dye distress ink because it ties them all in together, and I think it looks really nice. You'll notice that my paper is quite curled at the moment, but that doesn't matter. Oh, just there I created my own tag using one of the tags from the Divine paper to match because I wanted that yellow echo in the bottom corner, and there wasn't a tag that quite tied in with that, so that's why I did that. So I'm just inking around the edges of all my pieces of paper, and then I add a little bit of punching on the orange polka dot side, and it's just very randomly and a bit rough. And then I turn up the corners again, creates more texture. I only do it in the areas where I need to, and slide it all in. And I get my tape. I tend to stick stuff quite roughly so I can move it about quite easily at first, and then when I stick it onto the cardstock I will actually stick it down with a lot more tape and a lot better. So I add my punched piece and I'm just working out where my Bible print should go and how that should be, and I'm layering it up using the photo, looking at where it fits, where I want it to go on my page. So sticking my photo down, again not going too close to the edge, so I'm always tuck bits under. So here's one of the tabs from the Divine paper, it says love on it, and I'm going to just back that with the blue cloud because that pulls the blue from my picture and it also helps it stand out. There was also a little word joy which wasn't quite big enough to make a tag, so I made my own with it because I really liked it. I've also cut out wonderful and love this arrows and lots of other little bits and pieces. So here's my tag that's going down in my embellishment cluster in the corner. I'll cut the excess off later. I've got a cloud, and I've also got a little phrase which I'm going to put on foam dots saying pure gratitude. And this is where I think I want some gold, so how can I add gold? So I get some gold cotton and I swirl it around my fingers several times, and then I'm going to staple it, and then I add my pure gratitude label on some little foam dots. I echo this as well around the photo, which you'll see in a short while. I'm just going to stick all the bits down. So again, I'm just covering everything with brown distress ink around the edges, and then again I've got my little swirl of gold cotton, and then again foam dots for all the extra bits, another cloud, and happy thoughts. You notice it all goes on a diagonal. I use some of the words from the faith paper as well. I've cut some out. I use some boardwalk letters for my title because that's again a beautiful orange that really matches very well with these papers that are so bright and colourful. And I'm just writing it backwards so that I can fit it on the page. The final step is that I'm going to add some wood veneer, so I'm just choosing what size works best. And then just stick those down, and I'm pretty much done. So as I said before, the page will flatten out in my album. It's got loads of texture to it, and the papers are just so beautiful and bright and sunny that they really suit my photos. I hope you've enjoyed my video. Thank you.